how I came to find Igor was precipitated by being on a business trip about 1.5 years ago, and I found myself, quite frankly, violently shaking, and also having these strange sequences of mudras. And while I trusted it as a natural process because it seemed to come just out of left field, it wasn't something that I had thought of or even heard of beforehand. It just started happening. I trusted it, and yet I had no idea what was happening. And I thought, whatever it is, I ought to find out more. And so I started on my Google search, and that took me through a lot of different teachers. I learned the word Kundalini. I mean, believe it or not, it really wasn't part of my lexicon. I really didn't know what Kundalini was. I certainly had never heard the word Kriya before. I started reading and listening, and everything that I heard from Igor's voluminous offerings on YouTube really just resonated with me, and they felt very genuine and very real. And I loved that he had such a sharp and piercing quality about him, and it really stuck with me. So for a few months, I would say, I was stalking the teacher and just really watching and taking it in. And then when the first opportunity arose to go to an immersion in Italy, about 8 months ago, I took that opportunity and went to my first immersion with Igor. My experience at the immersions have been extremely rich and enriching. And I feel like they've impacted all of my life, all of life. And it really is hard to describe in words how many transformative experiences that have occurred within these immersions, and how powerful they are. It's really incredible. I think for the first time, a lot of yoga or a lot of asanas spontaneously occurring, where I was down on the floor a lot, and also with that, a lot of emotional releases. And I found it to be extremely liberating, challenging in the best of ways, and very liberating. And I felt like it really gave me a taste for this work and the potential for this work. But in the second immersion, it was really, really when I felt like I could really sense and see the precision with which Igor worked with each of us and as a group. And I think of him now as being a divine surgeon. And so wherever something needs to be cut, or something needs to be worked with or held, he's able to do that so incredibly skillfully. And to me, Igor's innate capacity to see that, to see through it, point it out, and skillfully deliver the message in a way that aids the process of liberation has been amazing. And that, to me, really came out in the second immersion with him. And I felt like the process continued to deepen, and the asanas, the yoga asanas, they continued to develop and change, bringing me to the third immersion. I can see that there were ways where, well, actually I couldn't see it. Actually, Igor saw it and pointed it out to me, that there were ways that I was really holding on to some patterns that had already even developed in the first and second immersions, and helping to break that apart, to free me into yet another level and another progression. So the kriyas continue to change for me. But I can see now that I think, like with all of life, without Igor, I would say possibly stuck, because that's a tendency of mine. As Igor says, it's not about the kriyas, it's not about the asanas, it's not even about the mudras, as beautiful as they can be, that these are all a byproduct. And at the end of the day, what really matters to us, what really matters is how does this translate into our lives? How does this really, let's just put our feet on the ground. How does this help us to walk around more fully human as more of the veils are ripped away, that it allows me to be more free in my life, more creative, more free to love. And of course, I still have a long way to go, and the work will continue for as long as I'm here. Speaking of a heart-to-heart connection with Igor, I definitely feel that, not only in the immersions, but in my everyday life. I feel so blessed beyond measure to have found Igor. And the connection, the heart-to-heart connection that I feel with him goes beyond anything I could describe. And being with the group at the immersions is such a wonderful and amazing opportunity, because with Igor, of course, and all of us together, there's a field that's created, and this field is extremely powerful. And to me, it is the power of divine love. And divine love will come through and clear out any obstacles that are necessary, that are in the way of love. And so, for me, this is extremely palpable, especially in the group sittings with Igor. And I think that the work that we all do together becomes this universal work, where the boundaries start to shed between this is my work and this is someone else's work. It really becomes all of our work. And it's really, really beautiful and incredible, and very, very supportive for the entire process.
Do you see any downside of this work?
Any downside?
Any downsides?
Yeah, look here.
Okay. For me, I don't see any downside to this work. It's the truth.